助けてほしいかナナミ。心を燃やせ。限界を超えろ。
Hello and welcome to More Than Headlines, your weekly anime news podcast powered by Audio Technica, made by Australians for global citizens. I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White, aka the Salt and Pepper Senpai, and joining me in the studio, my trusted co-host and rival, the Maka to my soul, Mrs. Courtney Smith. How the bloody hell are you?
I am so good today. How are you?
Oh yeah, I'm doing good. It is the weekend. We are just about to tip into summer, which is goddamn scary to think about. Like, where has the year gone? Recording on the 30th of November at a little past midday right now. The sun ain't shining. It is wet and miserable, but it's perfect weather to stay inside and binge all of the anime.
And record a podcast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and anyone out there that is hesitant about recording podcasts, just do it. Just hit record. What's the worst that could happen? Give it a crack. Who knows what your future will be presented with if you do not do it. So yeah, hit record, jump on a microphone, have some fun.
So this week I have a new haircut.
Looking great, by the way.
If you're watching, then you'll see my haircut. First of all, I need it to grow out because it's just not where I want it to be right now. But I was saying to Brendan that this is my breakup haircut. I didn't go through a romantic breakup, but instead a breakup with my job. You were waiting.
Very well done.
Bro, you were so ready to do that.
Yeah, I had the drops queued just in case. I didn't know if you were going to take us on that journey as far as what's happened this past week, but I'm like, I've got to be prepared because you never know what's going to come at us here on MTH.
I'm shocked, honestly, that I wasn't expecting that. Thank you.
But yeah, no, myself and the world are very happy for your decision because yeah, it wasn't the most ideal employment situation. And you know what? We don't need to grit and bear that type of shit. You pulled the trigger. You were the bigger person, and now you're on to bigger and better things.
Yeah. Do you have any show and tell this week, Brendan?
Oh, I can't match that. I've been like, it's funny. I've been having like debates and internal monologues about like what to do with my hair. Funnily enough, too, I'm like, do I grow it out? Do I shave it off? What do I do? Because I'm in this weird like middle ground where I'm not fully feeling what I'm wearing, carrying or growing. I don't know what the word is for this. And anime and manga fans will get to that content soon enough. But you know how this podcast goes. We go on a lot of tangents. We just go where the conversation takes us. But yeah, I don't know what to do with my hair too, Courtney. I don't know. Do I want bangs again? Do I want a fringe? Do I want to grow it out? Do I want to shave it off? I'm torn like Natalie Imbruglia.
I like your hair.
Oh, thank you.
I think it suits you. I think if you had a different hairstyle, I would be like, who is this?
But maybe I need that in my life. Like we're nearly getting into 2025. Maybe I need a bit of an evolution, a bit of a character sort of plot twist going on here.
Yeah, that's true. But also, I was looking the other day. Last tangent before we get into the news. I was looking the other day at how long we've been doing this for. We've been doing our podcast since May, and that's May, June, July, August, September, October, November. That's almost 8 months.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Very crazy. Yeah, this is episode 26 of More Than Headlines. So we're going to cross over the 30 episode threshold by the end of 2024, which is kind of cool.
That is insane. And I am so excited. And I know we're just starting the episode, but thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I had it in the back end of the show notes, but on that front, while we're here right now, the last 28 days, our listenership has grown a further 20% over the last month. And also wanted to have a random shout out to Denmark, apparently, where we're charting in the top 30 for animation and manga this week too. So yeah, shout out to all my fellow Danes out there having a good time, living the best life, because apparently it's one of the best countries to live in all of planet Earth. So,
Hi, Denmark.
Shout out. I don't know any Danish, so yeah, I'll just say hello as well. But yeah, awesome stuff. Something else that is awesome is this.
You like the news?
Courtney, lead us off.
All right, let's read the news. The week before last, we discussed the Solo Leveling recap film Reawakening because it's getting a release in Japan and the US. But luckily for us living in Australia, it's just been announced that the film will be coming to Australian cinemas from December 5th.
Screenings of the movie will also feature an exclusive sneak peek of the first 2 episodes of Solo Leveling Season 2 after the recap film. You can watch the movie across the country in select cinemas.
So I don't know about you, Brendan, but I got an invite to the fan screening. Did you?
They're not doing it in Melbourne, so no, I did not.
Oh, no.
But I'm going to one-up you here because I actually watched Reawakening last night because I have a screener for it already, so haha, got ya.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you anyway to Sony Pictures for the invite and the screener. I'm looking forward to checking this out on Wednesday. They're doing the screening the day before it officially comes out in cinemas, and I am so excited.
I'm super excited too. Obviously can't say much about Reawakening. I don't want to spoil anything and NDAs and all that. I don't want Sony to come at me with their big legal stick, but it's great. But also on the back of the reason why I got to watch the screener is I'm finally getting to interview Alex Lee this coming week as well, obviously who voices Sung Jin-woo himself. So sitting down with Alex on Tuesday to get all the hot goss surrounding Solo Leveling. So I'm hyped as hell, and that should be on the podcast feeds, a couple of days later. So get ready for that. I'm
so excited for this interview. I feel like this is one of our first big things coming into our new project, and it'll be really, really cool to see this all over the socials and have a listen to it.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited for this because I haven't done, and obviously we sort of pseudo interview on your podcast anyway, but I haven't done more of a one-on-one virtual sit down interview style thing for a while. So I'm excited to sort of dust off my interviewer hat and give it a crack. But it's going to be a good time, and this should be out a couple of days after we record on Tuesday. So sometime this week it'll be out, and hopefully, as Courtney just alluded to, our big announcement will be happening soon. I know we teased that it was going to happen this past week, but there's just a couple of things we're trying to finalize and tweak. We don't want to, we don't half-ass anything here. It's full ass or nothing on MTH. Yeah, it's very exciting, and we can't wait to sort of show you all in the coming days because we're so close, Courtney.
Honestly, it's so close, and it's going to be so insanely cool. The video we filmed for it, I'm obsessed. I'm going to, that video is 3 hours long. How?
Yeah, it is the Schneider cut somehow. I don't know what's happened, but it is cinema, as the kids say out there in the streets.
Speaking of cinema.
Yeah, speaking of cinema, in his latest interview with Anime News Network, Shinichiro Watanabe, the creator of Cowboy Bebop, Space Dandy, and Samurai Champloo, has revealed that all of his shows take place in the same universe. What?
Right. When I saw this article, so I was reading Anime News Network, as I do. Shout out to Anime News Network and Lindsay Loveridge. Love your work. So he was being interviewed about his newest anime, Lazarus, which is coming out soon on Adult Swim. And when he was asked how it builds on his past projects, he stated that this is something he's always thought, that they've always taken place in the same universe. Yeah,
this is goddamn cool. This news has made me equal parts very happy, but also very overstimulated because some of my personal favorites in anime history have come from this man. Samurai Champloo is a top 10 all-time anime for me. I absolutely love what they did with that franchise. Mugen, Jin, and Fu as a trio is still one of my favorite little groupings in anime, and it was one of the anime that really sort of just sunk its hooks into me and made me fall in love with this medium. It was just super stylized, super polished, using the hip-hop soundtrack as well as samurai combat and stuff. It was just cool. And that's what Watanabe does, I think, better than most. Space Dandy is sick. Cowboy Bebop is obviously one of the GOATs as well, and it's also got that same cool vibe to it. And the fact that they're all in one world, are we ever going to see crossovers and collabs? Maybe not, but in my head, I'm already seeing these characters sort of interact and play with each other somehow. So I held to this is cool news.
It also just doesn't surprise me, right? Especially when you look at his 2 big ones, which I think are Cowboy Bebop and Space Dandy. They're obviously very, very similar. honestly, I feel like Space Dandy is just the more modern comedy version of Cowboy Bebop. So unsurprising, but love that he's confirmed this for us.
Me too. And I also love this third and final headline for MTH. What you got?
Oh my God. Okay, this I think is the biggest news of the week. The online horror survival game Dead by Daylight is getting a Junji Ito collaboration, which includes brand new cosmetics inspired by a range of Ito's works.
Yeah, the crossover collection will include 2 legendary skins and 6 very rare skins for both killers and survivors. Both Miss Fuchi and Tomi will be making an appearance alongside Soichi, Terumi, and more.
So this announcement, I'm excited, but I'm also kind of jealous because I tried playing Dead by Daylight once, but it was too scary for me. It has a lot of gore as well. Like, I don't know if you've played it, Brennan, but if you're the killer or if you're the survivor and the killer like hooks the survivor to drag them to the stake or whatever, it's really gruesome.
It's really gruesome. And I'm a horror sicko. I sort of grew up on horror, for better or for worse. Thanks, Creamy Mummy, for showing me horror movies before I was even like 10 years old. So I've seen a lot of messed up things since a very young age. So I wouldn't say I'm numb to that type of stuff, but I'm certainly used to it and trained to not be too grossed out by it. And yeah, Dead by Daylight, I've played it here and there over the years. It is really fun. I do like the gore, and the gameplay loop is simple. Whether you're a killer, you got to kill the 4 survivors. If you're the 4 survivors, you just got to, survive enough to power the Jennies and get out of this hellscape. But yeah, this looks cool. Miss Fuchi looks creepy as all hell. Like Ito's character models have always had that eeriness and that heebie-jeebiness to them, so it translates really well to DBD. But the thing I wanted to probably tip my hat the most to about this is Behavior Interactive, the studio behind the game. I don't know how they've done it, but they've just constantly adding to this murderer's row of characters they've got. And they've got so many legendary and terrifying franchises that have signed on to have, their killers and their villains be part of this world. So who knows, maybe this could be a good foray into sort of more of the anime space, and we'll see more, notable demonic baddies creep into DBD over the years.
Yeah, and I think, so this specific Junji Ito collab is inspired by a Junji Ito collection, which is, I think, the anime before the Uzumaki Adult Swim one.
Tales of the Macabre and stuff like that.
Yeah. And first of all, I know a lot of people don't like that anime. I genuinely enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I think it took more of the funny stories from Ito's works and kind of adapted them, and I really liked it. So I love Soichi. He's one of my favorite characters that Ito has written, so I'm glad to see he's in there. We're getting the balloon head Terumi characters. We're getting Miss Fuchi as well, who her story is so funny. I know it's creepy, but it's hilarious at the same time. So I think this is honestly such a great fit, and seeing the character models in game, they look so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this. And yeah, I think the Ito collection is certainly better than Uzumaki. Uzumaki episode 1 was so strong and so great and had me so excited, and then episodes 2 through 4 just sucked ass. So I've sort of pivoted where I've said this is better than Ito after watching that first episode, but the Ito collection has sort of hit pride of place on the shelf again over Uzumaki after that mess. But yeah, more of this, please. More anime collabs into sort of mainstream video gaming, please and thank you.
Yeah, we do have a bunch in Fortnite, obviously, but I think Fortnite is really par for the course, right? They do so many collabs, and a lot of the stuff that is collabed is pretty mainstream. And I think while it suits the game, I think this Dead by Daylight Junji Ito collab is so it just feels so right.
It does feel so right. And something that I've heard on the Fortnite rumor mill, because I play infrequently, apparently Demon Slayer is one of the next upcoming collabs on Fortnite. So we're going to get some great characters from that universe. And on the Fortnite tangent as well, they're doing a current collaboration with Nike where you can buy the sneakers. And I was upset at first because I have many skins and I'm like, I just wanted to see some of my anime girlies wear Nikes, but I ended up finding out that Toga can rock the Nikes. So I'm running around as Toga from My Hero Academia right now with some Air Force Ones, and it's the exact same Air Force Ones that I own. So it's kind of this cool coming together of my fandoms and my loves all in one battlefield. So yeah, it was a good time this week.
That is hilarious. But let's get into some rapid fire news, because while there isn't much, the stuff that we do have is kind of exciting. So rapid fire news presented by Otaku Box, the only anime box with scale figures, voting, and ecchi. First up is Oshinoko and Eminence in Shadow are both available to stream on Netflix. Oh my god.
I saw this just by chance. Like I was on Netflix the other day just catching up on, I think I was watching the latest episode of Ranma 1/2, and I saw the thumbnail for Oshinoko at first. I'm like, what? I beg your pardon? Okay, this is awesome. And then I was scrolling and then I saw that the thumbnail for the Eminence in Shadow that is coming as of today. So Oshinoko dropped this week. I think it's just the first season at the moment. Season 2 is still to come due to licensing and whatnot. But season 1 of Oshinoko as well as The Eminence in Shadow, both on Netflix, both two of my favorite anime that have sort of released in the last 2 to 3 years. They're awesome. The Eminence in Shadow is one of the coolest isekai that's come out in a long, long time. It's fucking so slick and so polished. And obviously we gush about Oshinoko every other day here on MTH. So anyone that was hesitant to pick up a subscription on High Dive to check these out, you got Netflix, jump in and check them out right now because they're so good.
This kind of makes me really excited, right? Because while I do like that we have High Dive to watch a lot of stuff that Crunchyroll doesn't pick up, I think Netflix is more mainstream. Like High Dive is very, very niche, I feel. But also in Japan on Netflix, they have Chiikawa, whereas here in Australia, you have to watch Chiikawa on High Dive. So fingers crossed that Netflix in Australia also picks up Chiikawa, because that would really make my day.
I'm hoping, like, obviously we're hearing a lot of rumor out there with Sony attempting to just buy everyone and everything at the moment. Will Netflix maybe make a play for High Dive potentially and then pick up that whole catalog? Because there is some heavy hitters over there on High Dive. And like you said, Courtney, having more global exposure through the biggest streamer in the universe on Netflix makes a ton of sense. So whether they buy High Dive or whether they just sort of have a sort of blanket agreement where they can just bring over all these big franchises into Netflix after a certain period of time, I'm hopeful because, there's so many good stories out there that aren't getting seen because, High Dive's still sort of a bit left of center. Yeah,
curious to see where that goes. But the next piece of rapid fire news is something interesting that I think, but Yamishibai is getting its 14th season in January 2025. Brennan, have you seen Yamishibai?
I've watched a little bit of Japanese ghost stories over the years, but like it hasn't been a regular touchstone for me. Like I've just sort of caught episodes here and there. I know like each season like ties typically into a different type of theme. And apparently this 14th season is going to be greed as the theme. So that's kind of cool. I might check it out because I'm always hunting for good anime-based horror. Like we talk about it here infrequently again, where we're sort of starved with good, consistent, spooky stuff in the anime realm. And Japanese ghost stories does sort of check that box. And I like their like little shorter 6 to 7 minute banger episodes. So it doesn't overstay its welcome. It just chucks you right in the shit with that urban legend and can creep you out sort of instantly instead of sort of a slow burn and a reveal. So I'll check it out when it drops next in January the 4th, I think is when starts airing that 14th season.
So the reason that I included this story is this was a bit of a shock to me because I really like Yamishibai, and the reason that I really like it is because every season starts in usually July, August, usually is when every season starts, and it's every year, right? We get Yamishibai. So for 13 years we've had it. I'm always able to watch it around Halloween, and seeing that they're releasing it in January, I'm like, wait, where's my spooky Halloween show? Guys, what's going on? January is not Halloween.
No. Well, it depends on who you ask. Like Halloween's a year-long event for some. Like
That's
spooky season is endless for some, but yeah, it is a bit of a weird choice, and maybe it tied into scheduling or budgets or just time constraints, who knows. But yeah, it is weird that it's coming out, say, 3 months later than usual, because yeah, tying spooky stuff into spooky season just seems like a slam dunk to me. But yeah, who knows the reasons.
Well, I just like this year we had our October Yamishibai for Halloween, and then but next year is, I'm like, what? God, this is my Halloween anime. Every year I watch Yamishibai at Halloween, and now I'm taken aback.
Well, you could even potentially hold this 14th season till next October and watch it in Halloween, should you choose.
I think I will, because I love this show for Halloween. Like, it's not God's gift to anime, but it's anime's gift to Halloween. So
I love that. All right, something else I love is talking about what we've been doing this past week. Courtney, shout out to what you've been up to. Give me some notable standouts. What you've been watching, what you've been doing, anything you wanted to mention to the audience?
Okay, so first of all, I had a big anime binge yesterday, and I say that like I've caught up with everything. I haven't. I've gotten up to episode 7 of everything. But honestly, I'll say I think I'm proud of the fact that I've stayed consistent, even though I'm like 2 episodes behind on everything now. But it's fine.
That's fair.
So, but the 3, because I picked 3 because I'm watching a lot, but these are the 3 that I have been really, really enjoying this season. First of all, How I Went to an All Guys Mixer, episode 6. This is still my favorite romance this season. But if you remember last week, I was talking about the one couple, Hagi and Kohaku, and Hagi is the guy who was like, oh no, I think this cross-dressing girl is hot, and he's like kind of grappling with those feelings, and everyone that's watching it is like, dude, come on, grow up. Like, she's a girl, like who cares how she dresses? But so this episode was purely about them, so it was a bit of a not boring episode, but it didn't kind of up the ante in the way the previous episodes have with the other characters, because we've been seeing their relationships really blossom. It's been really, really sweet. But Hagi and Kohaku were like kind of going back to square one, which is it's a bit of a strange jump. But he finally admits that he has feelings for her, which is very, very sweet. Even though the way he has to do it is by getting someone else to hit on him. I'm like, bro, just...
Boys are dumb.
Right? I'm like,
boys are dumb.
On. He literally, his whole thing is he's like, maybe I'm bisexual. I know. I'll get one of the other drag kings to hit on me. The drag king that has a crush on a different guy. And she's like, fine, I'll do it. And he's like, oh, I don't have any feelings for you. And she's like, duh. Like, you like someone else? Like,
as I said, boys are dumb.
But now there's a huge misunderstanding, and I just need the 2 of them to hurry up and sort their shit out.
I love this. Like, I've said it every other week for the last like 7-8 weeks that I will watch this, and I still intend to, but yeah, I just still haven't got there. But it just sounds so fun. It sounds so cute. And it's funny because I've been watching like the latest season of RuPaul's Drag Race Australia the past couple of weeks as well.
Hell yeah.
So I'm like, I need my All Guys Mixer fix to sort of, supplement this, RuPaul session that I'm working through at the same time.
I honestly think you'll love All Guys Mixer.
I think I will.
It's very, very cute. Very, very wholesome. I've also been watching Yakuza Fiance, of course. I just watched episode 6 this week. They are so good at making Kirishima, the main guy, unlikable. Like really, really good at making him a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. And I hate him, but I love it. So he ends up sleeping with Nao, who is not a childhood friend of the girl, but instead someone he kind of knew from the industry. And we know he isn't in a relationship with Yoshino, who is the main girl, but he obviously has feelings for her. So the fact that he's sleeping with other women is just not helping his case at all.
It's sad. Like another one, I'm a few episodes back still. Like I think I haven't jumped back in since episode 4, and it's one that I want to work through because I did enjoy this smutty, nasty, grimy anime.
Yeah.
Like it just is so unique to everything else that we're watching in this season, and I do like when the writers and the director can have a lead where you just genuinely despise them, yet you do feel there's some redeeming qualities in them and you kind of want to root for their success and this love to become a thing. So I know I'm going to vibe with it, and I'm probably going to feel exactly the same as like you as you're recapping here. But yeah, Kirishima right from the rip is just not a good egg. Like he is a piece of poo, but then there is like this hope where you hold out that he will turn over a new leaf and, find wholesome love with Yoshino. But yeah, I don't know. Like a friend of mine is up to date on the light novel that this is tied into, and she sort of give me some non-spoilers as far as where it goes, which intrigues me even more. So I'm like, shit, I need some time to catch up with Yakuza Fiance because it's my kind of trash.
Yeah, I think it's so, not that it's so realistic, but it feels more down to earth than other, I guess, anime. Like it's very, they aren't in a relationship. Like why shouldn't he have the freedom to kind of sleep with other people, which we know he does. He's done it like multiple times already, but this is the first time where we've really kind of known the character that he's sleeping with. So I think, it's very on the nose, and like I love the description used of it, which is gritty. Like it's just really gritty. And in the love triangle, I'm not on Kirishima's side here. I'm a big Shauma stan. I honestly hope that childhood friend Shauma gets his shot with Yoshino, but we'll see. We'll see.
There's going to be many, many more twists and turns to come in Yakuza Fiance, that I am sure.
What have you been watching though?
I'll start with what I've been reading super quick, because I've jumped into 2 new manga this week because I'm up to date on like everything. So I've read all of Marriage Toxin, and we've seen the rumors this week that we might be getting an anime adaptation.
Yes.
I don't know if I've got like, god powers here, but it seems any franchise that I fall in love with and praise is soon to be made an anime. Like it feels like we talk about some of these manga and then like within a few weeks, it's like, oh, anime adaptation on the way. So I don't know if I'm like the oracle of manga to anime conversion, but like, I don't know if I'm not. So if there's a manga you want to see translated to screen, reach out, Sugoi Squad, and tell me, and I'll start reading it and see if we can make it happen.
Yeah, honestly, I might start reading some manga just so I can like push it onto you and be like, Brandon, make this an anime.
Yeah, I'm like, like a genie. I don't have a lamp anywhere here, but you rub me and I can turn things into anime apparently. So anyway, a couple that I've been watching, just gonna skim over them super quickly before we jump into what I've been reading and then jump into what I've been watching. The first one, Blooming Love. I'm up to date on this one. Crafts Girl versus Art Boy is the sort of the premise. It's a rom-com, but I like that it's really fast-paced. Like they jump into a relationship, within the first, say, dozen chapters instead of like the will they, won't they that spans forever. So I like that we get the relationship. I like that we see this relationship and this bond build between our 2 leads in Kyoko and Shintaro. They're believable, and we see sort of the back end of high school and then it transitions into college. So it's a bit more of a mature, budding adult-based relationship, and sort of seeing them coexist and then meeting their broader family and friends and entourage. Like it's been a really good, easy read, and I smashed through, I think it's only up to, it's less than 40 chapters, but I think I read them all like within a day, and I'm like, fuck, what do I do now? So I smacked that through. That was great. And another one that I've started to read, and I'm fully up to date as well, is called Matcha Made in Heaven. And the premise of this one, 28-year-old Chako, she flees to her family's tea farm after realizing that her fiance is pretty much just going to ruin her life, and he's bad news. So she heads home to the tea farm. He ends up following her there, and then Chako in this moment, because he's like, baby, like come home, like let's start a life together, and not a good guy, but in that moment Chako's like, hang on, you just need to happen that Ishin here, who's working on the tea farm, we're married in parentheses. So they're in like a fake relationship now to get the bad fiance out of the scene, but then like the broader family and the friends and the people working on the farm were like, when did this happen? Please explain. So we've got a fake relationship here that will, you know, hopefully one day turn into a real relationship. And again, it's like older characters, you know, late 20 somethings navigating real world problems, and the writing's great, the art style's great, and they've just been good, easy reads that I've smacked through this week. You
know what we're going to call that? Tea.
Oh yeah, good tea, good tea. Yeah, so that's what I've been reading. I've sort of just cherry picked a couple as well to sort of mention that I've been watching. The first one, I'm caught up on Arifureta, From Commonplace to World's Strongest. As far as our grading scale, it's still very much a mid anime. Like, it's a largely forgettable harem isekai. 3 seasons in now, and I'm still not really overly invested. It's just a background or a hands-free anime. You know, the animation is super clean. Like, the character models look great, and obviously they make the women and sort of the female beastmen and thing look smoldering hot. Like, they're all smoke shows, they're all busty, they're all wearing far too little for the scenarios that play out. Like, it is pandering to a certain audience, but outside of that, there isn't really much going on. Like, this arc we're seeing the beastmen rise up from oppression and, you know, take down the capital, and that was kind of a good time, and there was some very empowering moments, like sort of tying into, you know, commentary towards racism and whatnot. So there was some realness and some heart there. It was kind of cool to see Shia cracking a lot of skulls. She's my favorite. She's the bunny girl that rocks the big hammer. Super cute, big heart. Does get offered a threesome in these episodes with Yue and Hajime, and I'm like, oh my goodness, where's this going? Doesn't happen yet. But yeah, Hajime as the MC, he's just so damn forgettable. Like, yes, he's a silver-haired pro tag, and he's got his eye patch and his red eye and his guns and whatever, but he's like Timu Dante from Devil May Cry. And I just don't really care for this guy at all. And yeah, he's sort of the weakest part of this harem, it feels like. And it's kind of sad. Like, all the women around him are kind of the pillars that carry this show, where he's just this knob that drives around in a Hummer and has a gun and a ship and all this other nonsense. And I don't know why they've decided to do this, but instead of swearing, he actually like vocalizes the word bleep over the, like, as the censorship. So we're like, you know, you guys need to get your bleep together. And you're like, why are you doing this? Who made this decision? It makes me so fucking mad and frustrated. No bleep there. See, I said the real thing. Studio, lean into it instead, because there's people getting decapitated. There's, you know, sexualization. Like, it is a more of a mature isekai, and yet they bleep out the curse words. I don't get it, and it really irks me, Courtney.
I can't believe he says it.
Yeah.
That's so annoying.
Yeah. It frustrates the hell out of me.
I haven't even seen the anime, and it frustrates the hell out of me. God damn.
Yeah, but it's, like I said, it's perfectly acceptable, middle of the road isekai with some harem elements. So if that's your thing, you'll probably be vibing really hard with season 3 of Arifureta there. But another one, I'm up to date on a few, and I feel bad talking about like episodes you haven't seen yet, so I'm going to try and avoid it as best I can. But I watched episode 9 of Blue Box this morning. It's sort of become like my little morning start, my Saturday tradition. Have some coffee, have some cereal, cuddle up with the boys on the couch and watch our Blue Box. It's a nice, sweet way to start my Saturdays. And this episode, we see Taiki. He's coming down with the flu after, you know, the stressful moments. Like, he's just played in the regionals to try and make it through to nationals. And loose spoiler, he actually loses to Shuji in the regionals. So he's sort of down in the dumps physically and emotionally. And then, he's home alone because his mum's working late. Him and Chi haven't really had much interaction during all this because they've been training so hard for the nationals and stuff. And so he's in bed, a little lightheaded and fluey. Chi comes in and she ends up looking after him, cooking him soup, which anime food again looks delicious. Like, the animation in this show, chef's kiss all over. Puts the little cool patch on his head, gets the medicine out, like dotes over him and you know, tries to nurse him back to health. And you know, he's at first like, no, you got to stay away from me. You got to focus on nationals. I don't want to make you sick. But she's like, no, I'm not leaving your side until you fall asleep. Like, so you're starting to see, like you mentioned with Yakuza Fiance, like, this is very real romance too, I think. It's very grounded. It's very relatable because it is situations and scenarios that would play out in most of our lives. So I like the way they do tell this story, and you see this sort of bond continue to develop between Chi and Taiki. It's so funny though, like when she brings in the soup, Taiki gets really upset because he's so stuffy and his nose is blocked. He's like, I can't smell and taste this beautiful meal. Like,
Aww.
life sucks. Like, so that part had me chuckling. But we get some really cool scenes and some realness where they're talking about, you know, their goals and their doubts and their struggles, where he's like, you know, Chi, like you're so stoic and all you're focused on is the nationals. And she's like, you know what? I doubt myself all the time. I worry, I stress. And so you're starting to sort of see these characters get fleshed out even more. But there's also, like, in this scene, the soundtrack's really subdued. We're just getting like this really simple sort of backing guitar accompaniment as they're sort of talking through it. And you can't like not help but get a little motivated in these parts because they're talking about their dreams and you know, Chi's like, you know what, don't ever feel bad about, you know, chasing lofty goals and having, you know, big aspirations. Like, you know, no one should ever doubt themselves because something's too big. Like, you have a go, if you fail, it happens, but at least you're not going to die wondering. You're like, fuck yeah. Like, you know, that's the messaging that anybody can sort of take in their life. And the episode, it ends where, you know, he's finished the soup and he's like, all right, I'm going to take it out to the kitchen. And she's like, no, I've got it. And he's like, no, you know, trying to be the tough man here. And he's like, no, I got it. And he stands up, obviously because he's a bit fluey. He's lightheaded, gets dizzy, goes to fall. And then we get Chi jumping up to try and catch him. And we get that very stereotypical tropey moment where they end up on the bed together and Chi's sort of on top of him and they're looking at each other and they're almost like touching noses. And there's this moment of like romantic tension there. And like she moves his hand up and like touches him on his face and like they're just eye to eye. And then the episode ends and you see this shooting star across the skyline sort of take place. And in that moment, my heart just goes, I'm dead. Like I've read up to, I think, chapter 166, I think is the latest that's come out. So I know where this story goes, but it doesn't hit me any less, Courtney. And this is just one of my favorite romances as far as not only the anime, but also the romance between two characters of the year. Like, I just love it. It's so wholesome and sweet and cute, and it's just the best.
Yeah, I just watched episode 7 last night. And we had, I think my favorite moment from that was at the end where Taiki offers to carry Chi's bags. And at first he goes and he asks her and she's like, no, I'm okay. And he's like, oh, wait, let me redo. And like that, I was like, yes, this is so good. Like such good writing. And he like swoops in. He's like, look, let me take it. And he takes it. And, you know, we really see him trying. He's really trying to make an effort and it's so, so sweet. But we also had the moment in that episode where Chi hears the other team talking about her, saying that she's not great. And, you know, she takes it on board, but she's like, no, like I can grow and get better. And, you know, she kind of takes it almost as feedback, which I think is so mature of her. And we're really seeing, I guess, the difference. You know, she is a senior, like she is about to graduate and she is more mature. And I think it's a really good and subtle way to kind of show that like gap in maturity between her and Taiki. And I really, really like that.
Yeah, it's just good storytelling. It's some of the best anime of this season, and it's just an easy watch with good messaging, great animation, great vocal work. And yeah, it's one of my favorites of the year. And I'm excited to see more of this story translate to screen because it has been, you know, hard 10 out of 10 for me so far as my personal enjoyment goes.
But let's get into our favorite show of this season, this year even.
This decade, this life, all of the things, yeah.
Dandadan episode 9 dropped on, Thursday night. I watched it yesterday at lunchtime. There were so many good moments. And I think this is in my top 3 favorite episodes of Dandadan, episode 9.
I'm with you too, like, because it was so different in so many ways with the art style, the usage of color, some of the scenarios that played out, like, and it was also, I think, the most frenetically paced episode of the season to date. Like, we do get a lot of speed and turbulence courtesy of, you know, early stuff with Turbo Granny, but this episode was just balls to the wall from the opening to the close, and I loved every second of it. Yeah.
So let's talk about what happens in the episode. So they're fighting. The Nessie and the Serpoians like have you know, they have their mantis shrimp guy, alien, and then they have Nessie, which they obviously have brought both of them. They brought Nessie specifically to fight Momo so they could then get to Okarun, but they weren't expecting Aira to be in the mix.
Yeah, and seeing Aira, because it sort of leads directly on to the back of episode 8, which sort of did end off on a cliffhanger where we see Aira and Silky sort of combine and you see those yokai powers start to happen. But we see Aira and those Silky yokai powers really complement Okarun and then Momo later as well. But I love when we're seeing this fight where we're seeing the speed and the craziness of Okarun combined with just the grace of Silky and the ballerina sort of movements, and seeing it constantly on the tips of her toes and like kicking the Serpos and, you know, attacking Mr. Manta Shrimp, who's actually known as Peeny Weenie is his real name. We know more about him in the coming episodes. Great character, by the way. But that fight is great. But seeing Momo still thinking that, you know, Aira and Ken kissed in the previous episode and thinking they've got a romance. So we've got jealous Momo, seeing these two seamlessly blend together while also, you know, Okarun is naked. So, you know, he's doing his best to hide his little bits while also fighting aliens and a mantis shrimp, and then dealing with Momo's jealousy and also then holding, you know, Aira, who's a gorgeous girl in her own right. Like, it is just so well done. And the comedic moments combined with the lust and the love and the fights in these early scenes are just like amazing.
I was laughing out loud so much. Like, just the sheer ridiculousness of the whole situation, the whole fight. And there were, you know, every time it started to get a little bit kind of predictable, something new would be thrown in. Like, the part that made me laugh the hardest was when the Serpos were like, yeah, this is our attack. Awesome zone. I was like, what is happening? It was so good.
Yeah, it's so over the top and so ridiculously silly at times in this episode. But I think my favorite moments in this were watching Momo and Aira alternatively fawn over Ken or Okarun in these moments where, you know, when he just drops the, you know, I'm just an awkward guy, and you see Momo like just faint and die in the background again because we get that Ken Takakura line again. But then seeing Aira talking about, you know what, like, because they all end up in their underwear and obviously Okarun's naked, but she's like, you know, the only person's ever going to see me naked is like on my wedding night. So we're seeing sort of like the purity of Aira come through constantly in this episode as well. But yeah, it's just absurd and it was great. And yeah, there was some great moments in this episode. Even the part where Momo's like, you know what we can do here, we're going to strip you down, Okarun, and I'm going to hold you with my spirit powers and you're going to be like a slippery fish. And I'm going to like use you and like to make you fly along the top of the water's edge so we can like deal with this Nessie and deal with Mantis Shrimp. Like, it is so good. And seeing them again come together to complement each other's abilities to take down these big bads. Like, I love that there is no like Okarun's the hero and Momo and Aira are the damsels in distress. Like, we're seeing them all kick ass and be bad sons of bitches and work together to fight these evils constantly. And I think that's one of the best things about this story is it avoids some of those tropes. Yeah,
and like the fact that they all do need each other to fight. Like, without Aira, they wouldn't be able to do it without Momo, without Okarun, without, you know, even if one piece of the group or one person was missing, the fact that it would be a struggle is really good. I think my favorite moment in this episode was Okarun and Momo stopping mid-fight to kind of have this like little heart-to-heart. And Okarun is like, you know, hey, like, it's a misunderstanding. Like, can you please like tell me what you're thinking? Like, I don't know what you're thinking. Can you tell me so I can like clear up this misunderstanding? Like, I want to understand you, Momo. And it was really, really sweet. And even though they were interrupted by the battle continuing, I think like having that moment to kind of slow down and stop and even build that relationship like mid-fight was really, really nice.
Yeah, I agree. And we constantly forget that these are just high school kids. Like, they're 15, 16-year-old kids dealing with some pretty serious threats constantly. So watching them react in certain scenarios and in certain ways, like it shouldn't be surprising. But yeah, seeing the maturity in that scene was really great. And I love, like, up until sort of this episode, a lot of the color palette has been pinks and reds and blacks and whites, but this one leaning into the Nessie colors with the greens and the yellows, it was stunning. Like some of the scenes where they're underwater and like just getting the emission from like Nessie's underbelly, like that yellow with the green, like it was gorgeous. And yeah, seeing them also lean into sort of that more reduced animation and art style with some of these scenes and moments, it was just, again, Science Saru are perfectly adapting this franchise, and I could not be happier. And then seeing how this episode ends, where at first we have, you know, they defeat Serpo Nessie and all is good, and then they're back in present day at the school, and you know all the students are around and they're laying down in the hallway. Ken's still in the nutty, Momo's in her underpants and he's on top of him. And she's like, oh, thank God, you know, this floor's so hard. I love it. Like the context immediately straight away had me cackling.
The panting, like the sighing, the smiling, you know, all of that, you know, that implication there. And then Ira coming through at the end as well, like running like the Titan. So good.
It was perfection. And yeah, because then they realized, they're like, oh shit, like it's during the day at school, all our friends and fellow students and teachers are now looking at us out the windows and down the hallway, and they think they've just had sex in the hallway. So yeah, seeing them all three run just in panic down the hallway as the episode ends is one of my favorite moments of the entire season so far, because again, like you said, the awkward running styles, the panic in their faces, and just the reduced animation and art showing that emotion expression was just perfection.
Yeah, and the fact that it's so low stakes, like they've just had this huge, dangerous fight, but this is honestly like the least of their worries, but at the same time, the most of their worries.
Yeah, it's so good.
Also, low-res Momo, the zoom in on her face where you can like count the pixels twice, cackling, just had me in stitches.
Yeah, I think from bell to bell, this was the most fun episode of the season because it just had everything. Like you got the usual sprinkling of love and quirkiness with action, with comedy. Like it is so well written and so well paced. Like it is rare air, I feel. And yeah, I'm sad that we've only got 3 episodes to go this season.
Yes. And once again, shout out to Awesome Zone.
Yeah, so good. The Serpos are so heckin' creepy. And there was one scene there where we had sort of a Serpo leaning down and looking up as, you know, it smashed Ira into the ceiling. And we just get like the eerie, greeny, yellow glow of the eyes. Like it's unsettling. Like I love that it can go from like, ha 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 to, ooh, I feel really gross. Like the tonal shift that they do with this anime and this franchise is, yeah, perfection.
And it's seamless as well. There's it's not jarring. And where it would be jarring, they manage to make it funny. Usually that's the kind of the trade-off, and it's done very, very well.
Yeah, and even that end scene transitioning into the ending was not jarring. Like it was perfectly placed in that time when it was the crazy run down the hallway to the like that worked. Like it didn't like break my immersion or anything. Like it was a good time. I love Dandadan so much, Courtney.
It's so good. I'm obsessed with this show.
I am obsessed with this show as well. And something I'm also obsessed with is ratings and reviews on podcast platforms of your choice. So listeners, viewers, Sugoi Squad, if you can do that, that would mean the world to us. Takes no time, costs no money. And yeah, chuck us a 5-star on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcast player of choice. And if you're checking us out in video form, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, check the link to those socials in the show notes there, but we'll all be made official as to why there has been some funky URL changes in the coming days. But yeah, be sure to chuck those ratings and reviews to us as well as all the other podcasts you consume, because like I said, takes no time, costs no money. It's just good karma. Pay it forward, keeps us tracking, keeps us relevant, and keeps us motivated to continually deliver content here like episode 26 of MTH. But Courtney, anything else you wanted to mention or shout out before we get on out of here?
I do just want to call out the fact that you said you're like a genie, but you don't have a lamp, so people have to rub you instead. What was going on?
It was a choice I made,
Yeah.
and now it is out there, immortalized in podcast form forever. We do not do any harder, aggressive editing and cuts here. You know, what you see is what you get, and I pride us about that. You know, it's an honest, heartfelt, sometimes uncomfortable, and train crash based episode, and I guess that's what it is now. Like, could I take it back if I would? Yeah, probably. But you know what? That genie is out of the lamp now. I can't put it back in. So I'm sorry.
Yep. Anything you want to shout out?
I'm not going to throw you under the bus, but you said something equally as disturbing before we recorded this episode, but we're going to leave that as a mystery to our fantastic Sugoi squad out there. So all I got to say is people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, Courtney, because
so
you took us down this path before we hit record.
So I'm the pot and Brendan's the kettle.
Yeah. But in this instance, the kettle is white because that is my surname. Because anyway, this episode is going places. What I want to quickly shout out as well, a new episode of More Than Hentai is finally dropping this week. I've been slack with getting this one edited, but it's going to be diving deep on the sci-fi comedy classic known as Gintama, one of my personal favorite anime out there. It's just so fun. A nice 90-minute jaunt with my friend Chad. So yeah, check that one out on the podcast feed to come.
Please tell me that you guys both think Gintoki is hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because I think
he's
he's really hot.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Anyway.
surprised because you are eternally thirsty. But listeners, viewers, Sugoi Squad, whether your anime be subbed, dubbed, or still yet to come, enjoy yourself and much love to all the gorgeous waifus and husbandos out there. Goodbye.
Mata ne.